Number 1. Number 1 in Pennsylvania. Bianchi Honda has earned the number 1 spot for selling more new Hondas than any other dealership in Pennsylvania, with 2,729 sold in 2012. This is achieved by having a great product, outstanding service, and you, our loyal customers.
Bianchi Honda is number 1 for all the right reasons. I promise to make it worth a visit, so stop and see for yourself.
Number 1. Bianchi Honda.
We're here to talk football. Coach Rzyczycki, how you doing?
Good, Jimmy. How are you?
Excellent. Fired up. So much going on. Let's start with a look back at the Cheney Wolves. You have to mention the weather. And I maintain always the tough teams win in weather like that. The mentally tough teams win. Cheney wasn't bad.
No, they made a lot of improvements from game 1 to game 2. We really never can tell anything from the Lincoln game, even last year to this year. But they played us tough with our great offensive line last year up front, and we kind of showed the film from last year and what those kids did, and they came out and did the same thing. And they changed their offense and did a really good job coming off the ball and moving the football on us, which is something we need to work on. But they were better than anticipated.
I thought they did some good things, and they looked coached, which
absolutely
is important.
Their kids knew where to go. That was, I think that was half the battle. But they made tremendous improvements from week 1 to week 2 versus us.
So, I don't just want to say you got off to a slow start. You kind of have to give credit to Cheney. You're hanging in there. Close game at the half. What'd you tell offense, defense at the half? Did you make changes, or you just try and motivate them?
No, it was more, here's what's going on. This is what we're seeing. We need to start making plays. Some of the things that we got caught on a blitz, and they ran a counter tray on 4th and 4 that went for a touchdown. And just some things that, uncharacteristically of us, we may have not executed the way we should have. So it was just a matter of getting back there and talking to the guys. It came the same thing as last year. It came down to one of those games when it was raining so hard, we had to run the ball. It was just hard to throw it. Even when they were exchanging the balls, they were still extremely heavy. And the best long snapper I've ever been around, Mike Bennis, was even having problems getting the long snaps back. So I know that the balls were effective if that kid's not getting them back, because he's as good as they come. So, we had to grind it out in the second half. We went out there and took care of business. And obviously, the first play in the second half, we sacked them, scored, scooped it, and scored. And I think we just kind of took off from there. But we need some type of catalyst in our games right now. I think once we catch fire, it helps us. And there's something we haven't done for the first 2 games, is find the catalyst in the first half to get going. And then once we get a lead, to maybe close it out. So we've got some new kids playing in some certain positions that should get better from week to week. I'm still kind of on the edge of not knowing what to expect, because I don't want to say you throw that game out, but the weather was such a factor in it. I don't know that we can completely grade those kids from what exactly they did on the field on Saturday until we get a nice dry day like we're going to get on this Saturday.
I didn't see, obviously, the first game in Connecticut, so I can't talk about the terminology being correct about Brock Jones getting untracked, but his stats certainly picked up when you needed them, which is the old Gannon football since you've been there, where you just wear the other team down and Brock Jones takes over in the 4th quarter. Is that a true statement?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's still what we try to do. To get up 2-3 scores in the 4th quarter, we turn the ball over to him and Tyler Johnson, to be honest with you. But
ran well.
Yeah. All that starts with our offensive line, and there's where all the new faces are for us. So the more cohesion we can get with those guys from week to week and get those guys playing together, the better off Brock's going to be. And Brock, he had a really good one last year, and he's got a really good one this year. But the kids, from an experience standpoint, they need to get more reps. And you should see in week 3 they should make some tremendous improvements and make sure that their assignment's strong, and he's just going to get better. And now that Tyler's come around, it really gives us the ability to be able to play both. But, yeah, the run game's definitely where we want to be. We ran it well last year. We've got to be able to do it to sustain success this year, so we know that going into it.
And as you said, you can't grade kids because, your receivers are dropping balls that they don't ever drop. Sure. It doesn't seem that, so it's got to be more than a coincidence that it's pouring rain and the ball. That was just miserable. Jack Quinn and I couldn't see the field. Without windshield wipers. I meant to talk to Dan Telesky about that. Couldn't you have somebody come up on the ladder and wipe those windows off for us?
Well,
be better than going up the steps.
That's true.
Yeah, it's funny.
The old steps.
We didn't get weather for the longest time. The first day it really rains out there. It happens to be the first home game that we're playing. So
it
it
rained sideways.
Yeah, exactly.
On the new McConnell family field. I love saying that.
The new McConnell Family Field.
Yeah, I love saying that. It's like saying your insurance arena. It just sounds so good, the McConnell Family Field. Brad, after 2 weeks, where are you at? What were you looking for? Where did you want to be after 2 weeks?
I just want improvement from game to game. I think every season has its own life, and this one does too, with all the new faces that are out there in different positions. I just want those kids to get better from week to week. So, I think we're heading in the right direction. They've got a lot to prove this week because the team we're playing is by far the best team that we've seen to this point. But, I just want us to be able to improve from week to week, and we got our work cut out for us this week, so we'll see.
We're going to take a break, come back, and talk Kutztown.
Sure.
Welcome back, everybody. Gannon University football with Gannon University football coach Brad Rzyczycki. It's amazing how that works out. Kutztown, Brad, I've been looking at them. I thought they looked real good. You think you would know obviously more than me. You say they are real good. Have they historically been good in football?
Yeah, they won the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference a couple years back.
Oh, okay,
and
I have them mixed up with
they were in the playoffs, I think, 2 straight years. But, yeah, they traditionally have been pretty good.
Same coach?
No, this is his second year. Coach Clements is there right now. So he took over, and they were really good last year with him. So he retained a lot of the staff that they had before. I think the entire staff besides the head coach that had left at that time.
All right, defensively, what will we see out of, I think they're the Golden Bears, what will we see out of Kutztown?
4-man front. I mean, they're extremely aggressive, a quarters team. They're good all over. They got 2 inside tackles. 97 we've seen on film. He's been playing for a long time now. It's got a ton of energy, and 97 and 92 that cause a lot of problems inside the tackles, and they're really good up there. And they'll rotate another kid in there, but they got 2 defensive ends that start for them, and they rotate another guy out there. So they're 4-man front, 2 linebackers. They'll play a nickel back, and they'll change the nickel back up sometimes. They've got some corners. They've made some changes at, I think, their boundary corner and their boundary safety, but they're a 4-2, 4-3 type of defense. Really aggressive, line stun a ton. They're good. They tackle well in space. That's what they did last week against IUP.
And then offensively.
Offensively, they're really good. They like to throw it all over the place, and the quarterback there has been number 6 has been doing it for a long time. Long enough. He's got great chemistry with their receivers. 82 is as good as we're going to see. 37, I think, is one of the best receivers I've seen on film that they have that's in the slot for him. 18 gave a ton of people problems last year. They throw it a lot, and the quarterback knows where to go. So changing coverages and moving safeties and doing different things is something we're going to try to move his eyes a little bit during the course of the game. They got a left tackle that's better than anyone we've seen to this point. So their offense is extremely explosive. Then you throw in their tailback, who I think is very good, especially when he gets the ball out in space. So they're an explosive offense. They score points quick.
All right. Grab a phone call, Coach.
Sure.
All righty. You're on with Coach Rzyczycki. All right. 461-1330. Brad, are they better offensively than defensively, do you think?
It's tough to say. I think offensively they're so momentum based, and when they catch fire they're so good. They scored 21 points so fast against IUP in the fourth quarter. It was like lightning, and they have so much chemistry. I think they have more experience over there, all over the offense as opposed to the defense. But their defense is extremely capable.
What about your team? Do you think you're ahead of or behind offensively or defensively?
It's tough to tell, Jimmy, to be honest with you. I think
can't tell you.
I can't tell, and I know we need to come out and make plays. Like I said, we're looking for the catalyst to start the engine, to get it going and get back to what we know how to do, and that's to run the football and play great defense. So this will be a big week for us.
Is it impossible to tell whether you should be looking at personnel changes or anything?
No, we can make some, and we have made some. Some kids, the great thing is competition. It gets people to play the way you want them to. So, and we have depth. So kids are going to get out there and compete, and we'll start rotating some different guys through some different positions. But absolutely, we can start doing that.
All righty. And getting back to Kutztown, second road game in 3 days, or 3 weeks. Did you like playing in a rainstorm and winning? And getting that, seeing your team compete under less than perfect conditions when you look back at it.
Yeah, when you take the first 2 games we've played, a long road trip to Southern Connecticut, and getting that out of the way and playing and coming out with a win, then you get a home game where it's a downpour rain. And you've always said, and I agree with you, the tougher team wins in those situations, how you execute, because you have to be mentally tough. To get those out of the way and to be 2-0 after them, that's saying a lot. Now we get to get on the road and and do it again. And I know we're going to get some dry weather on Saturday, so hopefully we're prepared. But yeah, I like the fact that we're a little bit battle tested from those first 2 weeks.
Kutztown beats IUP. They beat them by a point?
Yeah, 36-35, I think.
At IUP?
At IUP.
So that's a great win.
IUP had, I think a 26 or 36 to 6 lead, or somewhere. It was they had a 3-score lead going into the fourth quarter, and Kutztown just came storming back.
And they did it throwing the ball?
Absolutely, they threw it. They had great chemistry with those guys, those wideouts and that quarterback.
But they beat the first game, Kutztown.
They played Assumption. They lost at home. They had the lead the entire game for the most part, and then they played a tough one. Assumption's good on film too. It's not like they played a bad football team. They played a really good team.
Going into Kutztown, as I said, it looked like the running game was really coming along that fourth quarter. Do you go in hoping to establish the run, set up the pass, or do you look at the defense, you being a defensive-minded guy, and think we're going to start throwing it or start running? Do you have a...
Yeah, it's a great question. It's still with us, take what they're giving you. I think we do have to try to establish some type of dominance in the run game because we have got to be able to run it better than we have these first 2 games. And that's just a matter of our offensive line, our running backs getting on the same page and make sure that our exchanges with the quarterback and the running back and we're blocking on the outside at receiver. We always want to be able to do that. I think we got to control the clock a little bit more because we haven't been close to the time of possession right now, and that's been an issue for us. We're keeping the defense on the field. A little bit of it's our defense's fault too. We got to get off the field on third down. So there's some things from an execution standpoint that I think will help that process, and running the ball is definitely one of them that will control the clock a little bit for us.
Liam Nadler, and as I said, I only saw week 2 against Cheney. He only ran that read option or whatever it is once, and it was smothered. I think it's the first time I've ever seen it smothered. Are the teams aware of that right now, or did Cheney do anything to combat that?
Sure, they're working on it. I mean, nothing that we do is new with our schemes anymore. We've got to be a little bit different, but it's a matter of how they're playing it. Cheney was a little bit, you didn't know what you were getting, if they were going to chase the back or they were going to shock the quarterback or they were going to feather it on the outside, and they ran at Liam more times than they ran at the back, and they were doing a good job with stuffing another guy in the box to help stop the run. So they had a game plan, a very good one walking into it. But yeah, our scheme is on film, and it takes us a little bit of time to figure out how people are exactly playing us.
When you have a young offensive line, is it more of a unit, no, I want to say problem, but working as a unit, or is it one-on-one, mano-a-mano as an offensive lineman? When you say, yeah, we're young up front, do you have to be concerned about a guy getting beat one-on-one or them not making the correct reads?
I think you start with the assignment part of it first because we're talented enough. That's not the problem. We got to make sure that with the variety of fronts we see, and it's crazy to think we run a 3-3 defense, and that's one of the harder ones to stop. So our offensive line sees it, and they're more comfortable seeing a 3-3. The last couple of weeks you stick a 4-man front of them, and they have their challenges because they've never seen it for so long, especially the new ones out there, that they're getting better at it. But they have to take care of the assignment part of it first. If they get beat physically, I can handle that. From the assignment standpoint, they got to be on the same page, and we've blown some assignments to this point with those guys. And as long as we continue to get better, and that's the maturation of the maturity of those offensive linemen, just continuing to do it and getting the reps, I think we'll get better because the talent's obviously there.
Well, Saturday I remember looking a couple of times going, gee, they double-teamed so-and-so. I'm going, maybe they weren't supposed to because they didn't single-team the other guy. But it was a talented Cheney team. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, they were better up front than we gave them credit, I can tell you that.
Oh, well, that's tremendous. You guys leave tomorrow, right? About 6 hours, maybe?
Yeah, we're going to split the trip up. Like I said before, I learned the Southern Connecticut trip. We won't be on the bus longer than 2.5 hours without me getting them out of that bus and stretching and giving them a snack and feeding them water and everything else. So, yeah, we're going to split that 6-hour trip up. I think we're going to stop twice on our way there.
All right, Coach. These games don't count, these crossovers.
Correct.
But then, I know you won't look ahead, but for the fans, a league game, PSAC West, against an undefeated Clarion team, and they might come in undefeated. And, let's be honest, I go down there and always enjoyed, pounding them and having banter back and forth in the press box and everything. So this is a huge game for you to keep that and the national momentum going.
Sure, this is a big one for us. This is the best competition we've faced at this point, and we'll definitely be challenged on Saturday, so we're going to see where we're at as a football team.
And you are the guys now with the target on your back.
Sure.
You're going down there nationally rated.
That's part of it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're okay with that.
You have to earn it.
Sure.
So you must.
I
do it.
agree with you.
Coach Rzyczycki, thank you very much. Best of luck.
Thank you for having me, Jim.
We'll be back.